For a lot of you, this is going to be a gut punch, but I don't mind because I think this is the fastest way to wake you guys up. Think of your thinking as spinning out of your head, or if you're an athlete, out of your limbs, right? Whatever. Think of your thinking for December, for everything you do, right? 8 hours a day. Let's see, even though a human's only like functional for like less than 4, but let's say you did 8 hours of concentrated work every day on whatever you're trying to achieve. Your thinking is like a spider web you're spinning, right? A lot of you start December the same way you started last December, meaning serious levels of depression, but you won't call it depression, serious anxiety, but you won't call it anxiety. You'll just call it boredom or something really stupid. Some of you have been doing this for 10, 15 years of your youth, bro. And you don't realize if you monitor your thinking, you could realize you're spinning no webs. You wake up, you video game, you go to work, you have no web spun. You didn't think that much today. Therefore, by the time it's Christmas, you're unfolding because of these cosmic alignments, right? The winter solstice and everything. But you're unfolding in a very, very retarded pace, which you're going to feel. You know, a lot of people look around the room and go, wait a minute, I'm not unfolding like Zherka. That guy sounds like a goddamn genius. He never even finished a government school paper. He has not done anything with government education. Maybe the closest is like a bit of physiology or a little philosophy here or there, but really, Zherka is so not a student of the government world that he's adopted growing up here, right? In the West. But you are. And some of you guys get straight A's and are fucking broken, miserable. And your misery doesn't come from the fact that you're broke. For example, I tweeted this just an hour ago. Have you ever been on a vacation where you went to, let's say you went to Chinksville and you loved Chinksville, you had a blast in Chinksville, but then a year later, you know, you spend a lot of time back home and now you have this sudden urge, probably around the same few weeks you went last time, it reverberates. Now you want to go to Chinksville again, see the chinos and the chinks, right? Now you go there and you don't like it this time. Well, it's just not the same. I played this video game last year and it just doesn't hit the same. I used to play football with my buddies on the field, but it's not hitting the same. I went to Vegas with my buddies, but this time it wasn't that much fun. You're gonna go the rest of your life like your stupid motherfucking parents and your grandparents and great-grandparents, not knowing why you cannot have fun in a place you used to love. You don't know how the psyche works. So you're just letting things happen to you, hoping for the best. That's how you're moving in the world. What if you get hit with a rape charge doing this kind of a game, right? Like, if you really think about it, how can a human being go hit the bars downtown with his boys and have fun if he doesn't know how reality works? I didn't leave my freaking nothing. I was like, wait a minute. Before I experience reality, I want to have the right mindset down there. I know we're all going to get fucking bombed. Everyone gets bombed, right? I know everyone gets hurt out there, but I want to know what I am doing with my soul as I'm out there missing the mark and sinning my ass off. And some of you spend your whole existence on earth like your great faggot grandparents, not knowing what's happening. My religion told me this, but good guys good guys lose and bad guys win, so I don't even believe my own religion. You don't know that the world is a mirror. You're a fucking idiot, dude. You really think good guys lose and bad guys win? Well, that Zherka guy, man, he's got everything. I read these comments where people are like, how is God real if Zherka's life is like that and I'm a fucking incel behind the screen? And it's like, dude, how do you know you're not having more fun than me, first of all? Why do you assume that I'm having more fun than you? If I know more than you, and you admit that I know much more than you guys, thousands of years ahead of you guys, then you're admitting I suffered more than you. You can't come to knowledge without pain. A lot of you don't realize that it doesn't just reverberate against space and time. A lot of you guys are like, well, it's just not my karmas to have a good life. And you're not allowed in the cosmic architecture of the world you're building. You are not allowed to feel bad for yourself, because in initiation science, that's considered you believing you are more developed than what you worked on. Feeling bad about your life karmas is you saying to the universe, I thought I was more developed than I actually am. So, one, you didn't do the inner work. And two, after not doing your work for however long, you didn't do the work and now you're complaining that you're not as transformed as some other characters? That people are in different degrees of development and you're lagging behind because you didn't do the inner work? Well, at least you digested food and spiritualized the animal kingdom and plant kingdom one layer up, right? Since you're fucking lagging behind like a dumbass, always in someone's comment section. I saw one comment right here. I said, should I go live? And this guy commented, you're the only streamer I ever watched. And I'm like, fist bump this guy, because I guarantee you that's a winner. I guarantee you will be punished for watching streamers. You will be punished. It's like if you open the door and watch your roommate Zherka watching Tom Cruise movies every day of his life. You guys would be like, oh yeah, he's enjoying himself, but like Zherka, everyone knows he loves Tom Cruise. He loves that 5'7" man. He just, every movie with Tom Cruise, he's got to go some hoe to the theater, right? New hoe every time. He just needs to go see Tom Cruise. This guy loves his CIA partner, Tom Cruise. But you would feel bad for your roommate too. You'd be like, why does he watch all those Tom Cruise movies in his room all day? Right? Why is he? And I'm not saying I actually do this. I'm saying I like Tom Cruise's films, right? I don't sit in a fucking room watching Tom Cruise all day. If you're going to do anything big, do it all the way. Meaning, if you're going to do something crazy, like, spend 2 hours watching a shit movie. All movies are shit now. But yeah, go to the theaters. Don't do it in your own house. Your house should be an office of soul architecture, man, with an altar that you pray at, right? Your house should be a spiritual conduit of maximizing consciousness. It should not have that. For example, I'll play PlayStation with my nephew, but I don't dare turn a console on if I'm alone. I'll play video games with my brothers and Mario Kart all day, maybe even 5 hours, but I will never turn on a console or a video game at my age when I'm alone. And I've always maintained the guys who are on top of their inner work, they non-stop working at themselves. And I don't care if it's the head system, I don't care if it's the rhythmic system or the limb system for the athletes. As long as one of those three is getting maxed the fuck out, there's no way you will have calories and energy left to do anything like video games. Do you know how hard it is to go deep in your thinking? Right? You've only got so much time in the day to enter that area where it starts getting warm, and you're like, okay, it's, my thinking's back to being alive, right? When your thinking is alive in this level of consciousness, this is true prayer, right? Not saying that you stop all the other stuff. I'm just saying that being awake is a part of it. It's a part of pushing that envelope. And what I mean by this is, when I turned 21 years old, my brothers are such superstars. They're going to they're headed to the stars with the way they move. Like, they don't fuck around. They're successful people, and I'm lagging behind. But with the energy of, uh, I cannot be left behind, because it would be like a damage to the family name, right? So you got to make a ton of money. You got to do this. You got to do that, right? Some of you guys have that pressure, and that crystallizes. And so I skyrocket through the most horrific way you could imagine. Like, if you think about how much pain you have to go through to be a character, like the Z button, right? The Z button. If you want to be a Z character, like, oh, that guy. Yeah, I remember seeing that guy on my TikTok feed. That guy that came out of nowhere. This Zherka guy. If humans are pointing to you and talking about you as if you're like some kind of Charizard or Blastoise or Bulbasaur or whatever, just like a monster, right? If they're thinking like, oh, that guy's out of control, if a human points at another human and says, oh, that's just that fucking streamer, whatever. But if they point and say, no, that's Zherka, what they're saying effectively is, that is a human that's been through so much pain that you immediately have a feeling when you see them, right? This is why people grin in a creepy way if they see me in public, right? They don't just smile and say, hey, what up? They grin from their stomach. They can't hold it in. They're like, holy shit, it's like a rare Pokemon. Like, this guy is so individuated that he can walk in a room, even if the chicks don't know him, they all know something's about to happen. He's carrying the key. And I don't mean to say this to make myself look cool, because everything you could say about me, I would attribute to someone like Destiny as well. So this is where a lot of you guys, every time I finish these, they go, yo, I love everything you say. You had me until that Destiny part. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, you cannot see when I talk of individuation, I'm not talking about being, going from like a nerdy version of yourself to, more successful. I'm not talking about that at all. Actually, there's a lot of your friends, maybe a few of your friends, actually, if you think about it, most people you graduate with they don't really do much with their lives, and it's like a sad thing. But there's people around, maybe in your family or whatever, that you'll see they get successful, but they don't individuate. That's a weird place to be in. And by individuate, I mean, if you just see Earth as a video game, for some of you guys, you'll get sweaty palms talking about this, because maybe you guys are on the older side and you don't want to talk about this being a video game, because then you have to face the music of like, did you waste 10 years of your life, right? And then there's some of you guys that, like, at 21 were like me, like, I need a mentor now. Even if he's not that close to me, I need to know someone I can bounce my arrows off of. I have a question, right? And it's funny because it always evolves, I think the most damage you can do in life to yourself is, a lot of you more maybe spiritual guys, maybe more mystical side, maybe religious guys, a lot of you guys who follow my channel for that kind of stuff, you grow up to 20 years old thinking about what happens after death and all those kind of questions, and you're so used to what you've been spoon-fed by the world that you think it's like, snap your fingers and boom, you're on the other side. And it's not like that at all. At all. A lot of you guys, same for like modern Christians, I feel so bad for them. The reason they internally hate. And that last guy on the call said, I love when you go at Christians. You love when I go at Christians because they're not actually Christian. Like, I'm trying to tell you, people who don't do the inner work, they're building this hatred towards God. And I'm telling you right now, most Christians you talk to believe that the lion, the tiger, the bear, and all the animals we love not randomly, excuse me, they boop, just came out of the ether, just like that. God just created everything. And as soon as you tell a human that God just created everything, bam, it's all there. As soon as you say that to a human, deep down they hate religion, especially the religious guys. That's why have you ever noticed religious people spend more time debating their religion than actually praying and doing good deeds or they spend all day. I remember people telling me, they're like, Zherka, you're not religious. You'll be back on the internet. You're gone for a week. You'll be back right away. I'm like, no, I'm not, because look at my age. You know, I planned out my destruction, my life, my wins, my fails, my girlfriends, my this, my that, my trips. I planned it all to peak around 28. And then I extended it even more because, let's just say this, sometimes it's good to sometimes it's good to see that experience through to the end, even if it's the same experience. Like, I've had guys say, I keep making the same mistake over and over again. And I go, stop thinking of it like that. All right. What you should say is, I've made the mistake 20%, because I'm going to make it 8 more times and then it'll be complete. You should be seeing it like a video game, percentage on the EXP thing. You should never see it as looping. Because even if you just eat food in your house and let 80 years go by, that's still a spiritual gain, even though it's the most minuscule ever compared to what you could have done, right? There's many souls on earth who just want to be dragged along, and to me, to the more ambitious kind of guys, that's a terrifying place to be in. Like right now, I'll tell you right now that there's a lot of people getting cooked. A lot of young guys get cooked, and by cooked, I mean you're turning into a diamond. And a lot of young guys with high ass ambition are working a very pathetic job. And the average guy doesn't get cooked as hard from this, but the ambitious guy gets really cooked by this. And that's all intentional. That is all for the unfolding part. It will burst eventually, but if humans knew that what they're going through is an EXP bar, you would really jump out of bed. You would tackle on your problems with like this smile on your face, that you'll only see this kind of smile on a human's face. If you notice, they'll be 35 years old, 45 years old, around that age. You see those guys smiling the most. I'm talking about the successful guys, not dudes at Walmart. But you see a successful 25-year-old, 20-year-old, they're not smiling. For some reason, they're still worried, right? It's until you accumulate enough life experience to realize, oh shit, all the religions are not allowed to teach this part, right? And not because they forgot it, but it's it's let's just say it's overwhelming to teach this lesson. You can't teach what Zherka teaches to the masses, right? If I was to teach this in front of, let's say, 25 million listeners, they'd cut my head off, because I don't bring it into an intellectual way. I don't bring it into a scholarly way. I bring it in your face as if, hey, you're doing it to yourself. All of it. And you look at a successful 45, 55-year-old guy, they deep down, they know. They don't want to sound stupid by saying it out loud, like, oh, I have magic powers and I'm doing it myself. They would never say it, but they know. That's why they stop doing certain things. You ask anyone who got out of prison, he knows, even though he has no words to explain it. You look in a human's eye and you say, you are in the world of reflections, and everything you're going through, you're doing yourself. I thought, in my feed, it comes up as a clip of HS, and he said he looked all sad in the clip, right? And he's like walking in the woods. It was very relatable, actually. He's walking the woods, and I'm like, okay, this is different from the usual cringe of renting Lamborghinis, and then the Lamborghinis, when the rentals go away and you gotta go, the dude's like doesn't have the penthouse, but none of that. It's all like a facade because it started with the Andrew Tate phase. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. He's in the woods, so that means he's doing deep thinking. This has to be a good clip. It's not something you skip over. If you see a man make a video in the woods, they're going through it, man. They want the fresh air. They want to absorb nature, which is the spiritual, right? They want that. They want to be away from the city. And I was curious too, because I always think these guys are my age. These guys are younger than me. So all the lessons that I'll go through, they're going to go through very soon, maybe in a year and a half or whatever. And so that's why it hits me like, oh shit, what the fuck? Like, how come no one has realized that everything, the guys who came up out of the Andrew Tate phase, I'm not attacking them, but why they look corny is because Andrew Tate actually has the money, right? So if you're going to copy Andrew Tate, right? Like all these guys' personalities came after Tate. I think I'm the only red pill creator that came before Tate. And you want to hear something crazy is if you search up John Zherka Jenna, you'll see the first comment in 2018. The first comment ever written about me on the internet was Zherka is based in red pill. And I remember being so normie that I'm like, what's red pill mean? Right? I was so normie, I didn't get the matrix terminology. In 2018, that's how normie I was. Like, by normie, I mean, I didn't have electronics, I didn't have video games, I lived in nightclubs 7 nights a week. And if you watch some of my old content, you will see such a big normie that in VODs, I'd say, what is a Fortnite? What is this? I remember saying, who is Logan Paul? And now looking back, I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? When I first said in 2018, who's Logan Paul? And the chat's laughing at me and shit. Now I know I've known this for a while now, but it's funny because it's like seeing a dude miss out on a bunch of money. It's like me missing out on a bunch of money. Like, hey, this guy films a dead body in Japan. Not to bring it up. I'm just saying that's around that time it happened, right? And yeah, it was shocking when I'm like, whoa, there's other ways you can make money that doesn't involve, going to this part of town, entering this nightclub, then going to the other side of town, entering this nightclub, then sleeping on here because, you're going to start this. Then we got after hours. Then you got to, it was just like crazy what I was doing for $12 an hour. And it's so funny because in that video, people are like, wait a minute, he just blew up to 12,000 followers in like his first day. And he already quit his job. Like, this guy's fucking retarded. But I was like, what the fuck? You can make money on the internet? And that gate was opening. A lot of people don't realize that opportunities are portals. That's why you can never look in your life. You can never look at an opportunity you went through and everything changes for you. And you can never remember what that was like anymore. You always have to, it's like a different character comes out the portal and you're like, oh shit, there's no going back to there. It's actually kind of sad in a weird way. When you look back, you go, oh, how can I go through those portals of success without changing actually? And it's like, no, you can't. That's what individuation is. That's what evolution is. Anytime you see light that falls away, right? When light falls from spirit, it hits the ground as the lightning bolt. That's Luciferic, right? And a lot of people will never explain this to you because a lot of Christians, a lot of religious people, they love to say God just created everything. Boop. And they don't talk about the evolution part of the creation, which means they go their whole lives not knowing how reality works. But when you explain in anthroposophy the evolutionary part of eternity, that it's always changing, it's like artwork, it's like new revelation. It is new revelation. It's always changing. When you start seeing spirit as the great spirit, as shamans call it, or the Holy Spirit, when you start seeing this as something always changing, very close to you, but also you are very far away from it. You're deserving of all of it, but you get to experience every second, minute, hour, week, year. You get to experience many lifetimes and so on, and outside of time and space, and all of the degrees of experience. It's like, have you ever heard of have your cake and eat it too? Well, when you understand esoteric cosmology and Genesis, you start realizing, whoa, have your cake and eat it too is the best way to describe God. That he's not just going to give you one lifetime to fuck up. You get a infinite amount of chances, and that's the first time you'll realize, wait a minute, is that what infinite justice and infinite mercy looks like? How can you be infinitely just? You can infinitely punish someone through many lifetimes, infinite lifetimes, but also give them infinite lifetimes to redeem themselves whenever they catch up, whenever they're ready to get out of their own way. And when you start seeing this, I say this in front of 25 million people, they're going to cut my head off. Of course, this is not something you want to give to the masses, but I don't think the masses watch my shit. I think my tribe is a lot smaller, more tightly knit, and at a level of consciousness where they won't panic as hard, right? If you don't know what I'm referring to, just go to Jesus and the blind man, where they ask him, what sins did he commit? Is it the sins of his father? And Jesus goes, no, he's not blind because of his father's sins. That would be ridiculously evil. And he's not, but on the other hand, Christians say, modern Christians, because, a lot of people come to me, they're like, but you hate modern Christianity, like, with a vengeance. Like, you'll only look at medieval Christianity. I'm like, yeah, I'll only look at the four temperaments that Thomas Aquinas talked about. I'll only look at this kind of point of view, but in a 1900s lens, because anytime you look at the old point of view, you're doing something very, very fallen away from light, which is Luciferic. You're supposed to ask yourself, what does a Christian look like in 2025, in 2026? And yes, it's very different from ancient times, because guess what? You have a different gallbladder. You have a different liver. You have different senses. You perceive the world differently. And you have a different level of consciousness. By that, I mean, in ancient times, humans couldn't even say I, like I am Zherka. Their consciousness was structured in groups. So when they said their name, they were talking about their tribe's whole name. And now you'll understand the mystery of Adam and Eve. Adam's not just one dude. Adam is a whole line of people. Right? And when you start realizing this, you're like, oh shit, that's not a fairy tale book. That makes a lot more sense. You're going to want to run away to your talking snake shit, but I'm telling you right now, a lot of you guys are not going to be satisfied with modern religion. You might have a friend that's very stupid, and he can absorb modern Christianity because he loves the idea of a tiger just appearing out of nowhere. And then you can compare it to your level of consciousness, where the stripes of the tiger are created by the etheric patterns in the soul world. Like the etheric stripe, you can see the vibrations that make the tiger, dude. You can see spirit and how it weaves things. You can understand that animals came from you. A lot of people are like, but if Christ did, because this sounds like Christ did a lot more than what we've been told, and it's like way more than you think. So everyone who says, I am Zherka, I am this person, I am, what they're really saying is they should be thanking the Christ. They should be thanking the Christ, because the only reason their consciousness evolved to be individuated enough to be, I am atheist, I am tennis player, I am basketball player, is because of the Christ. It's like, yes, So you're telling me all the atheists and everyone who doesn't even believe also benefits? Yes. Not one human left behind. But wait a minute, that's unfair because what about everyone before the mystery of Golgotha? How did they receive any of the new level of consciousness? They got left behind, and Christ pretty much gave it to everyone who came after him. So we got lucky, didn't we, Zherka? It's like, no. Nobody missed out because they got reborn. They're walking around today, you fucking idiot. Are you mentally ill? You just look outside and ask yourself in Walmart, is that man's face finished or does it have to evolve further? You look at your head and you go, why is it evolving into like a ball? And your head is about the past, everything of the past. And you look at your limbs and they protrude outward like a cosmic bang explosion of chaotic energy with your fingers and toes going everywhere and your legs and arms and lower parts. And you're like, but the limbs are talking about the future. They're showing my future. So if you combine past and future, your head and your limbs in the middle of your heart, you'll get many limbs of will to help people. And that is the sun, a big head with many limbs, sun rays. They caress and build our world, weave into our world, give us new ideas, revitalize us. And I'm only talking about the health nuts. A lot of people get really angry because, Zherka, you've changed so many lives, but I don't like your new style. And I'm like, my dude, I had my 7-year plan is on to this winter solstice. This is like perfect timing. I'm doing everything perfect. I know it seems like very long term. I know you guys want more of these streams and stuff, but I'm saying, you look at my long term plan, you guys are unfolding at the pace you're supposed to unfold. You have to thank me, motherfucker. I could easily go back to my work. Right? I don't have to stick with a bunch of dweebs. Look at this fucking guy, Ray Epps, with his Patrick profile picture. Look at this fucking dweeb. Anyways, what I was saying about speaking of dorks, HS is in the woods, and I'm like, oh, here we go. He's having an epiphany. When you see a dude in nature, and the dude is like always around escorts and rentals, when you see him do something normal, it's like a cry for help. So I actually watched the clip and I go, here it comes. And the first thing out of his mouth, and I hate that a lot of my students predict what humans are going to say. I train them in a way where they predict what humans are going to say and they start giggling and laughing at them like when they're predictable. I'm like, look, if I teach you an esoteric perspective and you can immediately guess what someone's going to say just by whatever I teach, that doesn't mean you should be turning into some kind of asshole. Actually, if you really enjoy laughing at people, and because you got like a lot of people get into these kind of teachings just to have something over their fellow classmate or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, bro, you guys become black magicians the fastest. You guys are the most dangerous types, right? Because immediately when you go, oh shit, consciousness is structured so it's very uneven playing field. And by that I mean look at like an black African versus like some dude raised in New Jersey. It's like very different level, even though they're both acting like animals, but it's very different levels, right? So imagine an esotericist, right? Or someone who can hold one thought for 30 minutes over, let's say, 2 years, right? Imagine what that guy can do in a room, right? That's a scary level of concentration. But anyways, the footage of HS is the first thing he says. He goes, "Men, word of advice for you lads: don't trust anyone. Don't trust anyone because they're just gonna fuck you over." And I'm like, dude, how embarrassing is this? If you come on video saying, don't trust anyone, everyone's going to screw you over, what you're leaking to the world is that you are a snake. Because you cannot get burnt in this world. Unless it's like a new karma added onto, let's say it happened just today to you. But that's rarely the case. I mean, that's not the case all the time. It does happen. But if you ever see someone pissed and crying, Jung would say to his client who's like, why is everyone so mean to me? And he's like, why are you mean to everyone? Because it's always inverted, right? But Jung wouldn't dare tell the people of the world, he wanted to protect his reputation, I guess, that he got all this from the East, my ass. He got this from Theosophy. Basically, it's you cheat on someone, everyone around you cheats you. That's how it works. And if you start looking through your life, you're 28 years old, you're 25 years old, you immediately get it. You're 22 years old, you haven't done that much harm in the world, you don't get it yet. And it's like, oh, it reverberates. Well, I'll just be perfect. I'll just be a nice guy so it doesn't reverberate. And it's like, you can't do that either. Because you're being so nice, you're not going for your goals now. There's zero courage. Now you're building a shadow. This is going to fuck you. For example, a good example of a young man who built an incredible shadow. And the shadow is important, right? It's not a bad thing. It's just, it develops with you and, you're going to mold it however you can eventually at the end. It's like the end game, right? But I word it like this. There's a reason why you can't see the back of your head. You can only see the front. Is because the greatest sin a human does is his forced amnesia, where he pretends he's a good person, but he actually stores in the back of his head all the evils that he's done and carried. He carries them with him, right? There's been people screaming, Zherka, I keep having nightmares of a burning house. It's killing me, bro. This church is burning down, right? Taking this right from Dr. Steiner's client, right? Let's say he said that to me as I carry on his will. Yeah, you're having traumatic visions when you sleep of a churchyard or a church burning to the ground because you set that fire. And it's not always going to be one for one, but it's always going to reveal something disgusting about you. Do you understand? A lot of my students, two of my students had the same dream. And I knew, I interrupt them immediately, right? When he's, I had that too. And I go, guys, don't even finish it. Don't even talk. Let me tell you how that dream went. And I finished the dream for them. And they freaked the fuck out. They're like, how did you know? And the dream is about a light body that is stuck on the ground by his back. And the legs are moving, trying to get up, but for some reason it's like there's a magnet on the light body's back and it can't get up. And they freaked out. They're like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I've had this dream too. This dream starts when you start waking up slowly, bit by bit, degree by degree. You'll have images of your soul life in whatever archetypal, symbolic way you could think of, right? However it comes to you, it'll be 1 second before you wake up and you will see this. And it's a good nudge that you're headed in the right direction, right? I know a lot of people have dreams of being really heavy and can't get up, right? It's almost like your soldier holding like 1 billion bullets, right? Just a bunch of bullets on you, you can't get up. You got too much armor, too much everything, too big ass machine gun, right? This is also another sign that you're slowly waking up. And there's this whole, I hate the New Age community. I have no idea what the fuck they talk about. The last time I tapped in with the New Age community, I think I was 14, because I've been into this stuff since I was like 12. And by that I mean like every time I skip school, this is all I look into, right? But I know that for the last 12 years, I've never researched anything about New Age. It'll pop up on my feed like for some kind of like memes and stuff. And it's very different from Theosophy, very different from anthroposophy, very different from the truth. But the New Age people, they have this reoccurring meme where they go, something happened, and then I spiritually woke up. And I'm like, yo, how funny would that be if you woke up once, right? When it's more like the lights are slowly turning on one molecule at a time. And it doesn't take 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, 1 year, but it takes up until your 56th birthday, you know? So one molecule of light a day, that's how you want to go up a bit, and then it'll be like, let's say 10, and then it'll be like 100 molecules, and then it'll just keep growing up like that, and that's how the lights turn on. Mind you that they turn off and when bad things happen, right? You could stay at levels of consciousness after bad things happen, right? And then you slowly peel back up another layer, or something tears you quick and you go up a layer, but now you're into alcoholism. And so you're at a new level of consciousness, which you can't even enjoy because you're drinking. So immediately it blurs, it's damaging, it's everything. It's not like you're going to lose it, but that flame will diminish until that habit is kicked. Now, you look out in the real world and you go, wait a minute, this concentrated part of the day we call consciousness is true prayer, right? Not saying that you quit your nightly prayers ever, right? Just look at anyone I've helped in my life. I post it all. Prayer is huge, right? It's huge. I'd say prayer is only second to being healthy, because I've gotten so many people who told me the greatest lesson they got from me is getting healthy. When you're healthy, prayer is like easy. It's kind of like lubricated. It's just, not to make it weird, but it's like that. And then you got some fat asses eating Doritos and smoking cigarettes, and, they don't have a God. They can pray as much as they want. They are in a fog. They are, right? If your temple is gunky and like garbage, oh boy, is it bad. You look at my biggest, fattest loser, at those 700-pound guys who lose weight, bro, they have to get to know God like one step at a time. And it's like very slow process. That's why I say, I'm like, to the unfit people, I don't give a shit about you building muscle, bro. Everyone has a muscle phase where they want to get super jacked, right? That's fine, go explore that and stuff. But, first of all, you're gonna get your girl taken by someone like me. Okay? Someone who develops their mind in a suit and tie, right? Who's healthy, who's glowing, who's radiant, who's powerful. It's just gonna be game over for you. Okay? You're going to be digesting meat, thinking to yourself, oh, I got big muscles, but all my thinking power went to my limbs. No, dude, be a balanced person, unless you're going to make a work of art out of your body. Let's say you want to go to Olympia, right? If you're going to go that way, that's fine. If it's for an artistic endeavor. But if it's just you want to be jacked just to be jacked, but you can't even focus on one thought for 30 minutes, you can't develop your mind. And a lot of people think just going through life, oh, I'm just going to go through life till 28 years old and I'll be at the level of consciousness I want. It's like, no, you won't. You're going to be at exactly what you deserve. The only people that surprise themselves, the only people that are like Neo from the fucking Matrix, are the people who do the inner work. And, if you're under 25 years old, listen to this, I don't expect you to understand. I don't think you can even sit still. I think your fingers are moving right now. I don't think you have it in you for that kind of a discipline, right? But when you max out all your stats, your network, your looks, your money, your everything, you've gotten all that out of the way, right? It's like kind of putting the clay on your character, right? You're molding that character. And there's going to be a hyper maturity phase that you have to go through, a purification. And I'm telling you right now, if you understood the steps of being human, the art of living, you would be shocked at how many steps there are. Which is funny because dreamy, mystical, fantasy-filled mystic types, those people are very Luciferic. Luciferic meaning they float upwards too much. They say, well, I had some fruits today and that's about it. And it's like, no, dude, it's like engineering your body for 365 days to tune it for maybe 5 minutes of the peak meditation of what you're looking for. 5 minutes out of a 30-minute meditation you're getting out of it, if you're lucky, and that's over years. The first year is just awesome, right? You're tuning it like, whoa, everything is fucking with you. There's people who say, oh, the city life is damaging you. This is damaging. There is so many disruptors to your mind that you don't even understand how much peeling off you have to do, how much deleting of your lifestyle you have to do, and how long this empty feeling is going to be of, whoa, I'm kind of, okay, I took off all the gunk out of my life, but now what? Well, now Zherka's teaching me patience and to wait and to develop and all that. And if you do all this without having fun with it, you're like 1,000 years slower than the average man. That's what's crazy. It's like, just like when you play football, just like weightlifting, if you're not having fun with it for some reason, some dude having fun with it is progressing faster than you. Just like that. It's the same thing. Right? And it's not going to be like explosive fun. It's going to be like a gentle sunrise that keeps going up. And you're going to, on your notebook, you're going to notice when you're at a different layer of consciousness. It's so fucking subtle that you'd be shocked after a few years. You'd be like, well, what's the point of this? This is so fucking subtle, right? Unless you're those pieces of shit who have been harming your body, your mind, and your soul. If you're one of those guys, purification looks awesome, because then you go, whoa, I'm finally breathing good. Everything's good. Everything's just awesome. Nothing's changed. Everything's just awesome. That's a great place, right? And then you're going to start realizing, oh shit, this doesn't end. You know, you can't just build a pyramid of consciousness and then go out drinking. No, like I say, you're not allowed to drink after the age of 28. And if you really, really want to get ahead of people, and I mean like get ahead of yourself, I recommend you guys avoid alcohol altogether. I mean, think about it really. Everyone out there drinking drinks to like find their wife or whatever the fuck. Listen, man, your wife you're going to talk to sober every day of your life. If you can't talk to her sober at a bar, you're a fucking bitch. Okay? Another thing, a lot of guys think that they're going to have like some kind of famous incarnations and shit. Okay, I think less than 0.1, what is it? Much less than 0.001% of the population has even regular streamer fame. I think a good example of this would be like, I think gaming fame is way more realistic, but the fame you guys talk about of like podcasts and bitches and all that, bro, what streamer do you know that does that? There's very few. Like most of them just play video games in their room and they have clout. So if you guys think your incarnation is going to go as like some famous dude, I got news for you. That's like less than, I don't think you'll even be in this call listening. If you're dead set on building your mind to do that, I mean, you can. But if you can do that, you should be able to do much stronger things. Like, think about it. If you can go enter the top 0.1%, whatever the fuck, if you can do that, you can go much, much further in this world. And remember, nothing is lost. When we're talking about consciousness and spirituality, not like in this some woo-woo way that everyone talks about, but I'm talking about like an exact science, right? Nothing is lost. It's just added on. And it keeps adding on from lifetime to lifetime as your character develops and you level up just like a video game. And a lot of you guys are going to be confused watching some kind of, what is it, Sneeko or Andrew Tate. And it's like, dude, these people are in for some horrific, horrific times. If you've seen it's like the same character year after year. They never develop. And I keep repeating it because I'm like, there's no fucking way people realize this. There's a reason why. Excuse me, no, let's word it like this. Don't ever think just because you're a chatter watching someone stream that you're not engaged in their karma. I say this so many times to people and they never listen. If you watch, let's say some blue face and his fucking fat chick, whatever, if you watch that stuff all day, you're engaging in that karma. Well, I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything. I didn't even comment. It doesn't matter. That's how sticky mind is. And you guys are not getting it because it's like, bro, it's not funny. Some black dude named Blueface and a fat chick is not funny, dude. Move on with your incarnation. Let's level you up, dude. Alright, let's see what we got here. Who got requested? Let's see, Joel.
Yo, man. That's actually so funny that you just say that because, to give you some context, I turned 27 2 days ago. And ever since that day, I have literally felt so allergic to anything online. And this is actually probably the first thing that I've actually seen in 3 days online. It's just this. It's like every time I engage in something, whether it's like scrolling or just some random bullshit that, I previously was addicted to, it's like my soul just screams at me. And I can feel that every part of me is like, I'm investing into this world. Like, this is becoming a part of my soul. And I'm actively choosing it, but I don't actually want it. And, yeah, man, that's something I noticed like so heavily in the past few days. And I really hope that most people who listen to this actually realize that if you're sitting around, and I think I remember you saying this like a few months ago, it was like, if you're engaged with something and you don't want to be known for that thing, then why the fuck are you watching it? Like, why are you engaging in that world? Because it's literally leeching off onto you. And, I don't know if you experienced this around like my age, because it's like, I feel like 27 is just this weird kind of age where things start to, it's like you become sensitive. I don't know if you experience something
100.
like that.
Bro, you gotta remember, I, much earlier than you and much earlier than that age, right? Let me just mute your mic for a sec. I'm gonna get back to you in a sec, but let me answer your question directly without the static. Much earlier than your age, I knew exactly what I'm supposed to do. And there's also old clips of my Twitch channel. They're like, when you blow up, what are you going to do? I'm like, we're going to lean into Jesus. We're going to go 1 year hard on Jesus. And then when guys are really close to me, we're going to go more into the stuff that I personally done for my life. And my chat was always confused. They're like, well, why are you going to play it like that and not right now on the Twitch thing, right? I'm like, Twitch is a different world, man. Twitch is a world where, I mean, we'd have guys come on the stream for political or religious debates, and it was just like swearing. It was super funny, but it was like swearing at each other and stuff. And I did so many things to make my sensitivity go away, right? Because, as you're maturing, that sensitivity just means you don't want to reverberate with the bullshit anymore. You get disgusted from it. It's kind of like a lot of guys that I got to quit cigarettes. They can't even smell them anymore. Usually someone quits cigarettes, they go, oh, look, it's a smoke, this is kind of nice. But a person who actually quit, they have an aversion to it because they don't want to be a part of that time system anymore, that level of consciousness. They are disgusted with that layer of consciousness because, it's like, people don't realize that, 5 years can be locked in one state of consciousness when really you were supposed to gain 500 level ups that you didn't. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, that if you're not gaining these levels up in consciousness, which comes with maturity, and unfortunately comes with sensitivity to bullshit too. Like, you're not going to dive into some of you guys grew up with Fortnite. Imagine you watching Fortnite videos right now. Imagine that level of puke you'd have. Like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Right? No, ask anyone who grew up with Fortnite if they can even watch Fortnite right now. They would puke. They'd be like, whoa, I don't want to be at that layer of consciousness. And this is what I mean by spirit evolves with us. That's like the everlasting revelation. It just keeps coming and coming, and it's like pouring right through you. If you freeze in a layer of consciousness, things go horrific for you. There's a lot of people listening here who have frozen in a layer of consciousness, let's say after a big breakup. Unfortunately, these people are just fucked. Let's be real. They could get out of it when they're 41 years old, 51 years old, but their whole life they pissed away. You know what I mean? This is why it's so dangerous to absorb media. If you're not absorbing the media, you get to get out of that sticky, muddy matter quicker, right? Because remember, matter is condensed light. You don't want to be condensed. You want to be soaring in front of the pack, flying forward. You don't want to get heavy in matter, stuck in matter, there's humans on Earth. I guarantee you, people who follow me watch Blueface and Black people content, and I'm like, dude, if you ever want to wonder how racism exists, it's a balancing force. That so much evil can be seen as funny. And think about Zherka when he's bored doing some YouTube superficial shit with YouTubers. That Zherka could be the most evil out of them all, right? If you put me in a room with Blueface and these guys, it would get really funny. We'd have a blast. But man, I would be stuck in that layer of consciousness for however long, because people rub off on each other, bro. I can't stress this enough, where it's like, if you're not looking at the end of every week of your life, forget the career, forget the money, forget the everything in your life. Just look at consciousness. Is your flame building or is it dimming? Because you're here crafting something. Every breath you take is crafting this body you're building. Do not fuck around thinking, oh, I got sensitive to BET media. Man, life's not interesting because I'm not watching Cardi B twerk. It's like, you're supposed to get sensitive and disgusted to morally bankrupt activities. You know why you're supposed to get sensitive to this stuff? Because even when you're sensitive to it all, you are still morally dirty yourself. So what's the point of being morally dirty plus taking on the world's dirt? You gotta start scrubbing somewhere. That's why humans take showers every day, to remind themselves, I have another day to rub off more. It's not just faith, it's works, man. You gotta polish your heart till you see the shine of spirit. Go ahead, Joel.
Yeah, man. It just came to my mind, is this the reason why you and Sneaker, fully just completely fell out?
No, I don't think we fell out. Like, I genuinely believe if I walked in a room, he'd laugh, we'd chill. Like, we were always like this. But I cannot be attached to Sneako's karma. Like, dude, he has dog shit karma. And I mean, like, have you ever seen someone really excited to mess up their own life? That's me. I could have seasons of that. I can't have years. This guy spent 3 years looking for trouble. I mean, like, he's been in more trouble than anyone I know, bro. I can have a season of trouble. I can't have 3 fucking years of trouble. It's like, evolve, man. And you gotta remember, if you're in this content game, a lot of people think I'm endorsing or co-signing all this sneako faggotry. And it's like, dude, why the fuck would people assume if you're friends with someone, you're co-signing them voting for a Democrat and all this weird shit that, it might balance Nico's soul out going blue because maybe he couldn't handle the red, right? For some of us, red is in the middle. But yeah, you look at the world and you're like, oh shit. And let's say I was Zherka with his follower count. Would you want all of Zherka's followers to think, hey, Sneako's cool? Fuck no, you wouldn't want that. What if my followers actually get some ideas? What if they get some ideas like, hey, maybe Sneako's got the right path? It's like, bro, this guy's mentally retarded. This guy's literally mentally retarded, voting for Zorani. And then he goes on podcast talking shit. I'm like, don't talk shit because you're an easy troll button. And he said, no, bro, we're actually friends in the text message. I said, watch this. And I started shitting on the guy. And bro, it's like relief getting messages saying, I'm glad you don't co-sign this blue pill shit. What the fuck? I have some friends where they won't take advantage of, oh, Zherka's got followers, I'm going to start converting them. And then there's people like Sneeko who try and convert the world. I don't go around trying to convert no fucking Muslim. The fuck are you, stupid? I'm realistic here, right? Convert. When are you going to go convert a freaking... Get the fuck out of here with that retarded thinking, right? But his style is he has to convert everyone. And my followers are like, oh, Zherka's so polite that he probably doesn't mind that I watched Sneeko do some camel faggotry. And no, I do mind. No, don't damage your level of consciousness following some dude with horrific 3-year banned off YouTube karma. You don't need to follow that kind of garbage karma. There's plenty. Go follow Logan Paul. He's good. He's fine. Right? You don't have to freaking mimic these fucking camel jockeys. What the hell are you talking about? If I'm friends with a camel jockey, that doesn't mean you get to turn away from the Bible. That's retarded. That is like, there's a reason why when I speak, everything I say you resonate with. I'm not doing flashy little edits and entertainment shit to get in your head. I'm telling you the truth. Christ is God. These camel jockeys are not going to do anything for your evolution, and I don't want to be tied to their fucking bullshit. I don't give a fuck if we're friends. You're not bringing down my followers with your gay ass. What, you had a dream? You had a dream of Muhammad? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's it's funny what you say, because when someone like Sneeko or anyone, I've noticed it when I watch, and as soon as they open their mouths and they start speaking this way where it's like, I want to get the world onto me, like, come this way, it becomes so much less personal. And then I think of, okay, Jesus literally walked around and spoke to the people that were like the outcasts and spoke to them personally, like a deep relationship personally. And since going to like church lately, I've really been clicking in my brain and in my mind from all this weird self-development stuff that I've done in the past. And that was without Christ. And I did all this like shadow work, men's work, all of this stuff. And all of scripture is now making so much sense, because it's like the relationship needs to be deep and personal. And I'm still even getting used to speaking about it to people in my life because of how actually deep it goes and how deep it feels within myself.
Yeah,
Speaking out.
I don't even recommend people go around spreading it to their friends and family. I recommend you build an inner world with real Christology. And then you're just going to shine. People are going to ask you. Like, people come up to me, they go, Zherka, can you do another stream talking about Christ and blah, blah, blah. They're going to beg for it. They're going to want to see passion speaking, not fucking nigga 5 times pray a day. And it's like, what do you say? He said, Allah brought my YouTube channel back. I'm like, really? After 3 years? Where was he for 3 years? And you know what's funny is he's getting balanced out by karma, right? But now check this out. You look out in the world, right? You're going to have homies that are just regular homies you can disagree with. And then you're going to have converter homies. They try and convert you. They try and convert your friends. these people are not good people. Like, well, we gotta stop walking around the world pretending Sneako's a good person. He's, what do you call a thought rapist? He tries to force an idea on people. Like, he forced an idea so hard down Sonny, which is sad. Like, imagine the guy's coming to you for friendship, and the only way you'll be his friend if you come to the mosque. He dangled friendship in front of Sonny's eyes when Sonny had no followers. He lost everything, right? He just fell off. He's having a mental crisis. He needed a friend in the industry. And Sneako's like, I'll dangle friendship in front of your eyes if you come to the mosque with me. That is fucking demonic, dude. Well, why are we pretending like that's not one of the most evil things we've ever seen fucking mixed race nigga do? Like, what the fuck? That is demon, and everyone pretends like that didn't happen. Yeah, that happened. It's shocking to me that imagine Zherka hung out with a dude and said, yo, you can be friends with me, you can be in my life, I got all these women, I got everything you need, but you gotta come to church with me. You gotta come to church with me or I'm not gonna be your friend. It's like, what the hell? Imagine if those words came out of my mouth. You have to come to church or I'm not shaking your hand. This guy is fucked up, man.
Mm. Yeah, it's like being tempted in the desert. It's
Yeah,
like the
I
exact
see, and
same.
it's like very easy to see that Sneako's got horns over his head. Think of someone like Logan Paul, think of someone like Sneako. They're in the same industry, same business, YouTube, except for some reason Logan Paul, who's done the most evil, nasty shit you could think of with the suicide force and stuff, so Logan Paul's glowing in good karma, and then Sneako's just 3 years of just negativity. It's like constant negativity. What he's changed his gender and race and religion 1,000 times, which is what, Logan has changed too, right? He went very liberal and he has changed opinions, but in a crazy way. If you look at all YouTubers on earth, everyone said to me, they're like, well, Sneako's unbanned off YouTube now, Zherka, can you go collab with him? I'm like, no, I don't want to be a part of his karma. He thought I was joking when I said that, before he took it personal. I don't want to be a part of people's dog shit. I guarantee you, I raise my hand, I don't want this to happen. I guarantee you, within the next few months, you're going to see something horrible happen to Sneako, and he's going to make a stream saying, yo, life is hard and shit, because the guy cannot stop farming. It's like, do you see the first instinct he had to make a clip for his clips channel? The first instinct he had was to instigate the people who put him on. He said, look, white people, I'm with your women and whatever. It was like, whatever. He wasn't trying to be funny. He's like trying to antagonize the same people that put him on, right? The red pill crowd. He tries to antagonize. I'm like, dude, anytime this guy wants views, he'll go fight a faction that helped him in his past. That forms so much hatred against you. It's like, why would you want the whole universe to conspire against you? What the fuck is wrong with you? And then you realize, this is not like a racist remark, but this is monkey behavior. You know how monkeys will be in front of camera for long enough time that it doesn't know what to do, so it starts throwing feces at everyone, right? That's where Sneako's at in his career, where it's like, well, I don't know what else to do. I might as well antagonize. I gotta say some shock jock thing. I gotta do something. And it's like, whoa, that's horns on top of your head. Like the cool thing about Logan Paul is he'll have his whole life, and then he'll make a YouTube video, and then he'll go back to his whole life. Sneako does not have a life, but his life is YouTube, right? 7 days a week. So there's no inner world he has. He only has the outer world that he has to share with everyone who watches him. And Logan Paul's reverse. He'll be missing for a month, and then he'll drop a 10-minute YouTube vlog. And then he'll go missing for 3 months, and you understand what I'm saying? That Logan is returning to love. He's returning to an inner world, inner love. And Sneako's not returning to inner love. Meaning he's bitter, right? When your whole life every day imagine being a YouTuber every day or a streamer every day or whatever, you don't have a real inner world. And it's like, do you remember when Fousey was always online and he didn't have an inner world, so he made the internet, his inner world, which no human can actually do that. That's why PewDiePie went off into his inner world, because intuitively, PewDiePie wants to reach higher levels of consciousness, higher levels of karma. He knows what he's doing intuitively, not like someone trained him. It's just he knows not to rock the boat too much. And Fuzi lost his fucking mind doing that. And then you got someone like Steve go, hey, I'm a 7-day streamer a week, and I want to chill with you. It's like, no, don't bring your bullshit into life. Didn't you start off as a YouTube vlogger? Shouldn't you be doing what Logan Paul is doing? Or shouldn't you have retired by now and done what PewDiePie have done? Something like that. If you are going to do the I am a streamer every day, 6 days a week, please, please tell me you're doing it with a good heart, which is fucking impossible. I've never seen one live streamer who goes live 6 days a week. Unless it's like someone video gaming, even then they can get a little bitter like Ninja. But have you ever seen a streamer that goes live all the time that doesn't start to rot? Have you ever seen a streamer that's always on the internet, but their face is not rotting? Very rare, right? Like, look at XQC's face, like rotting to, what the fuck is that about? Like XQC has a criticism for everything that happens, right? This guy's not even close to his own parents. He joked about his mom respawning in afterlife because she wouldn't take his vacation ticket or whatever that he bought her. Very weirdo shit. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, shouldn't Logan Paul, he's a successful YouTuber, shouldn't he be what these YouTubers are copying? Logan has an inner world, and then he has a YouTube world. The YouTube world is very tiny compared to his inner world, right? Although at one point, Logan's inner world didn't exist. It was just YouTube. And that led him to a suicide forest. Anytime a human doesn't have an inner world, they rape their whole life. And, that's like a learning lesson. But by this inner world, I mean any human who's gone traveling. Any human who's gone traveling knows you can go to Dornach, Switzerland, and it's a fun trip, and the next time you go there, it's not fun. The only difference that changed is your inner world, right? Maybe you broke up with a girl, your inner castle, everything you built with her is kind of gone, rebuilding, whatever. So now you're in a different mood of soul, right? You've got someone like Tibetan meditation expert, right? A monk in Tibet. His inner world is so large. Like, everyone asks me, meditation's boring, I can't do it. I'm like, they say, meditation's boring, I can't do it. How do these Tibetan monks do it? How have you been doing it for 10 years? How did people on and off even do it? And I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, do you really think they're wrapped in sheets in the mountains with nothing to do, no PlayStation? They don't need PlayStation because they have the biggest inner world you can see in a human would be in a monk in the mountains, or a Christian monk, or whatever. Do you really think the world just stays boring when you stay on a mountain alone? When you become a hermit, you really think your inner voice doesn't get loud? You don't think life becomes a movie over 7 years? It becomes a movie, dude. You have an inner world that can enliven you. I'm not saying you go to the mountains and do this. That's like only in the past that people have done that. Now you're supposed to have families, live in the city, whatever, get it done here, right? As best as you can, right? But I'm saying, if you don't have an inner world and you're at a desk job, I'd say really consider how your life is going. Is it even called life? You're on a computer all day? Now, I'm not saying you quit the job. Let's say you went away for a month vacation off work. You built an inner world, and then you went to the computer. Now the computer is awesome. Now you can enjoy the fuck out of life. Now you're going to be shocked at how any kind of drug you can take, you can experience that feeling with a strong inner world of enlivened thinking, concentration practices, meditation practices, and most importantly, living your life intuitively, right? Talking to the person at the bar next to you, talking to the person on the street, talking to the animals again, getting in tune. And the greatest thing that happens is you get sensitive to, you come home, you turn on TV or whatever, you start doing your doom scroll and you see Krishan with blue face, and you see these levels of consciousness, right? Totally fucking up the fruits they've built. They worked hard building up their karmas, and now they're fucking all that up too. If you don't know what I mean, look at her child. She drank and smoked and did drugs, pregnant. Now she's got 18 years to take care of a severely disabled kid. And that's not the worst part. Like some of you guys who grew up with a disabled kid, you'll know that it's also a joy. It's like one of the deepest blessings. If you have anyone in your family like that, it's fun. It's funny sometimes. It's insanely aura filled to be around certain disabled people that you're close to. It's so much aura there that, you guys as a team have to figure this out for him, right? That he needs you guys in a different way than the average person, even though the average person emotionally needs you, right? On the shadow side of it, it could be hell on earth too, right? We've seen those kind of videos too, but it is an 18-year reminder when you're in front of a disabled person that you as a mother fucked their whole incarnation up. That's why this Krishan is, starting to feel the pressure. And a lot of people think she should be feeling more pressure and she's a piece of shit. And it's like, no, she's got the rest of her life to feel that pressure. And if you don't know what I mean by that, as she's unfolding, she's going to start feeling it more. Either she's going to feel like shit and guilty for it as her consciousness is slowly, very slowly unfolding, because unfortunately she drinks and does all this kind of stuff, or she's going to go deeply unconscious with every vice she can find, which I'm telling you, you will burn your desire body. You'll be cooked alive by it. That you will never, ever satisfy your desire body when it's in disharmony. When your desire, has anyone here listening, show me by emoji, has anyone gone through a phase where eating was like you couldn't stop eating? I don't mean like a hungry phase. I don't mean a growth spurt phase. A different kind of eating where you can't taste the food. You're going through a bunch of food and for some reason, it's like you're unconsciously eating. You just can't stop eating. It's like on some eating disorder shit, right? Everyone's been through this where it's like, whoa, I can't eat. I didn't even taste those 3 plates I ate, right? That's not eating disorder how you've been told. Or that's not, because for some people it'll happen 2 weeks, for some people 2 months, some people 2 years, right? It all has to do with soul disharmony. That, let's say your crush calls you, she wants to go out with you, immediately all of that disharmony regulates and you start finding your I again. That's what's crazy about the human, is like everything you've heard on psychology podcasts, Joe Rogan, anyone talking, they talk about self-work, but it's inner work, right? Because the self is the outer and the inner. Self is, it's inner work we're looking for. A lot of people get a lot of outer work done, like your whole personality gets built up. By the time you're 25, you are someone, right? People know you when you walk in, your friend group knows who you are. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like if you lost your friend group, who are you, right? And some of you guys get shattered with that. But I'm telling you now, there's like, if you don't look at a rock. Look in the things in themselves too. Look, what is a rock? What is a bird? What is this chin? This chin is a beak, and this brain is a bird. Every picture I see of birds in the sky is showing thoughts in air. You're supposed to see the world how it is and through it. You're not supposed to see the world like this is a rock, outer exterior and weight, and that's texture, and that's about it. Right? You're not supposed to see the world like this. You're not supposed to sit down with a girl at a bar, try and get her number, and not be able to see right through her. Right? A lot of you guys will get good at this and be like, oh, I tried to see through her to see her intention, and then I realized she doesn't know her intention. She's just going off impulses. And it'll reflect back to you. You'll realize you're going through life the same way. But have you seen how attractive a man is to a chick when they have a clear intention of what they want? That's because ego is shining there. Ego consciousness. That's a perfect, organized soul in perfect harmony right there. That's why he's attractive. That's why you can have a good-looking dude fuck up and an average dude slay. It can happen. You have seen anomalies happen because, their soul is in more harmony. Or someone, let's say a good-looking dude with a very, very overstimulated future body, desire body, future, I want this, I want that, I want. And she picks up on it and gets creeped out from it. My greatest prediction was Vitaly. I said, you cannot humiliate souls, no matter how bad they are on earth. If you humiliate souls on earth into a severe degree, they don't stop. They actually get worse, which means the workload gets worse for everyone else, right? And it just never ends. Like throughout infinite time and space, it doesn't end. So I remember saying, Vitaly catching those guys, pedo catchers, I guarantee you Vitaly's going to get locked up or something that stops his program. And makes him think, makes him meditate, makes him do prayer. I guarantee you he's going to get locked up. And he got locked up for like the smallest thing, like for like pushing some Filipino dude in the Philippines. And I remember thinking like, man, you can almost it's crazy how have you ever seen these YouTube channels? It's like the downfall of this streamer, the downfall of Zherka, but really you're seeing a pattern of maybe 1,000 YouTubers, big YouTubers, who karmically get ripe, then they get hurt, then they karmically get ripe, then they get hurt, good ups and downs and they never learn equanimity. They never learn to stay in the middle. Obviously, when they're older, like, I don't know how old PewDiePie is, but he's mastered equanimity. Because he logged off completely off the internet because he knew more money, more clout is going to damage him in the future, right? He wants more time with his family and all that. And which is sad if you think about how much free time PewDiePie has and he doesn't develop his own consciousness. Well, he knows what he's doing, but it is strange that it's strange to me how people don't have a lifetime study to developing their consciousness. They kind of just want to unfold with the seasons. And I've never been like that. I've always maintained that every month someone talks to you, they have to hear a higher version of you. I've always maintained that. And, I'm glad I was right about that because what do we got? PewDiePie in the next 10 years, he's going to be a soft family man. He's going to be a little off balance because family makes you way too soft when you don't have a buffalo to chase. So how he balances that is tough. Like a lot of you guys are going to realize you get randomly angry at your girlfriend, your wife, whatever, if life gets too easy. Like let's say you make money from your phone and you don't have to go to work. A lot of you guys are in that position. Life gets way too nasty for you way too quick. You're angry all the time. You don't know why. And it's like, I don't care if you're fat, thin. I don't care if you're jacked. If you're the type that has to work with their hands, you will never have soul harmony until you work with your hands. So I got guys who make shit ton of money, millions a year, and they're like, I'm not good at anything working with my hands. Like, what do you mean? And I'm like, no, I'm not talking about like building a bicycle or anything like that. I'm saying if you're that guy who has to work with his hands, you could go for 4-hour runs a day. There you go. Right? And that rhythmic system will completely fix your prayer life, meditation life, family life, concentrated work life. Everything will tighten at the same time in a magical way where you won't even believe in God anymore. You'll think you figured the universe out. That's how cocky you'll get. But this only works for these guys who rip their nails out, bite their nails, who need to do something rhythmic for 4 hours, right? This is huge. This is life changing. If you're those ADHD, airy type brains, right? You're just in the air. You're scattered. You do whatever you can to try and get focused and nothing's working. I'm telling you right now, you're going to hate it in the first bit. Like, I don't know, one dude, I've had many protocols of trying to get guys to not hate their life. I'm like, okay, you don't like running? Let's do 3-hour hikes for you, right? You can do long walks, you can do this, but eventually you all have to evolve into rhythmic jogging, right? Because you do it to organize your thoughts, right? It does help with the formative forces, right? And, put your astral body right into the metabolism. It's great. It's just perfect soul harmony, right? Some of you guys are under immense pressure, so it'll be 4-hour runs, very long distance. Some of you guys will be 1 hour, right? It depends what's eating you alive, right? And how big is it? And a lot of people are shocked that like these treatments are bigger than therapy, bigger than anything they do. I've had many people crying to me say, Zherka, all my life I try to fix my mental issues by therapy and going for a 1-hour run, and then I'll do this, but it would always fall apart. And I'd be like, okay, well, why don't you do 4 hours of running? Because it seems like you have way more energy, way more mental activity than the average person. I can tell you're tense that you haven't slept right in years, meaning your chest is always tight when you're sleeping. You can't enter a prayer, an effective prayer. You can't go to bed no, it's like you're not even breathing anymore. You can't go to bed perfectly. You will never be a human being. And you look out in the world, no one is a human being. Everyone is becoming. Right? You have to master this more than your career, more than anything, and you have to share it with people you know. When your eyes light up and you're like, oh shit, this Zherka's methods work, no therapist, no doctor, no human in this world will ever look in your eyes and say to you, you want to suffer. They're not allowed to do that. But I'm telling you, I don't give a fuck. You should be suffering. If you have that much mental activity, that you're always anxious, it has to go to your metabolic limb system. That's what you're built on earth to do. Now, there's other types of guys, but there might be the types of guys who are not made for this, right? Like, if you're a calm type person and you just need to build in your life, 4 hours of running can really put your soul out of harmony. It could damage you, right? You tell a really fit guy to add this to I'm not saying that. I'm saying to the guys who come to me who, I have Zherka levels of energy. What do I do with it? Well, you got to organize your whole calendar of thoughts first. And so, let's say you're a Zherka type, or you're in my body. I have to run. I don't have to, but I do have to because I have surges of energy. And I don't want to spend them any other way besides oxygen, besides this alchemical change. That's it, right? I do not want to waste it yapping on a stream, making a bit of extra money, or a lot of extra money. I don't want to waste it with talking to people. So I'll do 4 hours to 5 hours of running every day of my life. Well, how long you been doing this for? And it's been 3 months because I had some injuries and stuff like that. At my age, you pull something, you're fucked. You're out of the game for like a few weeks. But again, we're looking to keep you in tip-top shape so your mind is right. Now you it's like hitting the fucking stones. You get to fucking bring those embers into a flame, spark that shit up. And you have to, all of this has to be included with your life's work too. Like a lot of you guys don't realize, if your career is not your life's work, you point your finger and say, what is Zherka's life work? What is Zherka going to be talking about at 41 years old? What is Zherka talking about at 31 years old? It's the same topic. You should have a dedicated life's work. Especially around my age, you guys should definitely be on top of your shit. Because let me tell you this, man. You don't know how stupid you're being when you think entertainment is building a soul. There's nothing entertainment does for you. Zero. And throughout all of human history, entertainment was actually interest. Stuff you were interested in learning. We're in the only time in human history where entertainment is not with interest. Most people do not watch entertainment out of interest. They watch it because they're bored. Yeah, go ahead.
Yo, my heart's, I agree with so much. You've just made me realize I haven't been I used to do a lot of busking when I was living in New Zealand, performing on the street. And now I'm doing shows and I don't go out into the street and create my art in front of people like that anymore. And that used to be like 2 hours. I'd be dancing, tap dancing on the street for 2 hours, just connecting with people, random strangers. And I realized that's actually what I've been missing. It's the alchemical change you said, and then I'm creating art and I'm connecting with random strangers that have no idea who I am, which is so much more fulfilling than people coming up to me and being like, "You're that guy from the show, you're that guy from the show," that's not a deep conversation I can't really even
Yeah,
have.
Caleb, let me tell you this. Since ancient times, people knew as soon as they wake up by their elders in their village, they would say, this young boy cannot stand still, therefore we're not going to force him to do anything. He is going to do something mobile in the village, in the town, in the whatever. And he'll stay mobile till he dies, till his consciousness soul is inflamed in what he's doing. These people are dancers, these people are fighters, these people are whatever. But you look in modern times, and there's a whole new age culture of fucking retards giving meditation to people who want to move. Rhythm means life. Get the rhythm, get the fitness first before you master your fucking mind. I'm telling you, a lot of you guys are going to sit in meditation and be like, wait a minute. No, in the beginning, very slowly, you either go to one or the other. Eventually, you're going to be doing everything like the last 7 years, what I've been doing, and you're going to be like, oh, damn, there's an art to living life, and everyone's is a little different, but you look at the core teachings throughout ancient times of what survived till now, it's either you're dancing with your mind or getting it still, or dancing with your body, right, sports, whatever it is, or making it still. That's it. There is so much lost when people think you're allowed to go to a computer all day. Dude, if you don't get oxygen 7 days a fucking week, at least some tablespoons of honey, fruits in your stomach, and a bit of meat, if you're not doing any of this primal shit, which means when you eat natural food, that is the body and blood of Christ. That's what it's here for you. There's an esoteric saying that I'm not going to get into, but you guys don't realize that the nature component, the eating natural component, all of this stuff builds you up. Right? It built me up, and then you guys just see me on the internet and you go, oh, damn, that looks like a fun lifestyle. I want to be like that guy. That guy is doing whatever the fuck he wants to do. That's what will is. You do whatever the fuck you want to do with one rule attached to it. You cannot harm yourself, meaning you cannot harm anyone because they are a part of the I am, right? Everyone has their little flame that they have to work on. But it comes from the eternal flame, meaning don't fucking abuse that. Don't reverberate bullshit back into your life. You write down on your little piece of paper notebook how many days you have left till you're 72 years old. That's not that much time to build what you're supposed to build. You better get on top of that. That is not that much time. especially when you think about how much time you waste in between that, in drifting states, in dreamy states, which is very scary. There's a whole new age or esoteric Christian community, all this garbage, pagan Christian, all this garbage that tries to find me as if theosophists give a fuck about what you people are talking about, and they're stuck in dreamy states. They're like, yeah, man, we're all just one with the universe, man. It's like, dude, if you're not going to give us exact science of why you're saying that, fuck off. If you're not going to give us exact science of consciousness, fuck off. We don't want to hear your Joe Rogan takes. Joe Rogan spent 8 hours on a podcast asking, what are fruits? Like, what are fruits, dude? No, what was it? Yeah, what are fruits? And I got one even harder for you. What is fungi? What are mushrooms? Like, what are these things that grow magically and you eat them and crazy shit happens? And what is fungi? And it's like, dude, has the whole world lost their fucking mind? Are we listening to Michikaku? Are we listening to Rudolf Steiner? He explains that fungi and mushrooms are in between stage, in between plants and animals. Now that's fucking gross. But he explains with exact science what spirit science is, so we can delete all of the New Age community, the esoteric community, all these fucking garbage, and stay on the scientific path. Why the fuck is Joe Rogan 1,000 years old still talking about, I don't know what a mushroom is? Well, fucking open a book and read it. What the fuck? Open a book and read what a mushroom is. You go your whole life going, oh, what's a bird? What's this? Well, why don't you fucking figure it out? Huh? Plato sat down and figured it out. Why can't you do it? But no, everything has to be a dreamy mystery. Everything has to be a mystery. Bro, I hate, it's like people who said, no one knows what happens when you die. Yes, they do. Look into anthroposophy. It's like the most exact definition of what happens. Bar for bar, word for word, and this is not like some dreamy, I'm pitching you something that I benefit from. Are you stupid? I'm telling you the truth. There's, just like there's a science to sports and a science to everything, there is a science to spirituality. Open your eyes, man. You don't have to follow Joe Rogan and maybe it's mushroom, maybe Jesus ate mushrooms. Are you fucking retarded? Alright, let's go for it.
I'm interested on your thoughts on mushrooms and stuff like that, and like Brian Johnson's protocol and stuff.
Yeah, I would say Brian Johnson is a type of person who has probably perfect soul harmony, great karmic rewards, right? He's made $900 million, you guys said. He sleeps at the exact same time every day. He eats the exact same food. He's in such perfect harmony that he would tremendously benefit from psilocybin. Now, you look at the average Aiden Ross viewer, average Zherka viewer, average Sneeko viewer, average Gary viewer, average Myron viewer, average Nick Fuentes viewer. You look at those guys, any average viewer you look at will see demons on mushrooms. Let's be real. They have garbage souls filled with so much darkness. They will probably be hospitalized unless you've done a thorough purification of your body, mind, and spirit. Unless you've attempted a purification year of your life, I would say psychedelics are not for you. We're not even
Yeah.
close. If you think, people say, what about those tribes that give them to people randomly? You know, they just initiate people like that quickly. Well, those tribes are actually very primitive, right? In ancient times, it would take like 3 years, and back then they had way more water in their brain, so they could generate way dreamier visions that they actually held on to longer. Nowadays, you look at people who go through any type of magic mushroom experience, they come to me and go, Zherka, I couldn't hold that level of, well, you get to that newer layer of consciousness, but you're not going to hold the wisdom you got from it, right? And I always tell people the same thing. You are not right. If you're doing shrooms and not remembering what happened, you just know you're shook. That's not how it's supposed to go. That is not how it's supposed to go. Okay? Look into Dr. Robert Gilbert's work on psychedelics, psychotropics, and all that, and you'll realize that, yeah, we're in that age of, instead of being initiated through, ceremonies, all that, people are being self-initiated, whatever that means. It means they're just taking shrooms and figuring it out themselves, which could lead to some serious damage, long term. Although everyone who goes through it feels like it's the most magical thing they've ever experienced, the most awesome thing. Yeah, let's not say it doesn't come with risks and stuff. Again, this is why every esoteric master throughout history said, if you develop, morally progress for many, many years, oh my God, any kind of spiritual buff you take along the way will benefit you 1,000-fold. But if you're not purifying, if at 28 years old, 29 years old, 30, you have not changed, or maybe you've gotten worse, this is even more dangerous, right? The cool thing about life is if you're purifying, you get to take way bigger risks. You get to do all the fun stuff, right? But again, I don't think telling the average viewer to go see what's in there, because remember, your mind, everyone's mind has a treasure of its own, but it's guarded. A lot of those treasures are guarded by demons and stuff, and those are your demons that you created, you built, you carried, you held on with you for however long. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, you look into, it's almost like looking into Freemasonry with the stairs of moral progression, where every kind of secret society have always talked about that. Even if you look at Blavatsky, she was very confused by a time spirit or a Luciferic spirit, and she was Luciferic. And when they asked her how she got her insights, and by Luciferic I mean light it brings you what you want, but fallen light is like a lightning bolt to the ground. And it's pretty much light that's decayed, meaning it's an old way of thinking that is not alive anymore, right? So it's false light. And you look at her, she's like Luciferian, and Helena Blavatsky, they asked her about her superpowers. How the hell did a woman get this powerful? And she said through moral progression, right? She said through moral progression, right? She pretty much became saintly, but because her focus was on other worlds, she's not doing her own mission, she went very Luciferic, and that's why she had like so much, a huge issue with the Christ, even though she acknowledged it's real. She had a huge issue with the church too, right? But that's gonna point you in the right direction that, yeah, even the people who they get selfish, they want to go into their own Luciferic kind of, by Luciferic I mean thinking, right? Your thinking can be very Luciferic, right? You can be otherworldly, right? A lot of you guys dip out of society. That's a Luciferic tendency to become hippies, right? Where you're supposed to be in the middle, always, right? That's why you're in the city. But, yeah, you look at anyone in history who's developed tremendously, and some of you guys are like convinced I am at such a higher level than you guys, when it's like, you should see the people I'm around and how much higher they are than me. You would be shocked you would be mind blown at how many levels reality has. And it's not, people talk about it like it's a flex, but all of you are going to get there. Every single one of you. Like, do you really think Sneeko is going to wait till 72 years old to get there? Everyone is going to get there eventually. Trust me. Because it glows. You see it in people. You want it for yourself. Consciousness is something that, you're not going to pinpoint, but when you see it, when you have it. And a lot of you guys don't realize that, maybe you guys will do it in another lifetime, whatever. I think that's stupid as fuck. I think you're going to be drowning in materialism anyway. It's 2026, right? So might as well balance that. And I don't want you guys to be those guys who start having nightmares and then trying to balance your psyche and do the inner work. I think that's stupid. I think it's better if you do it early on, Again, a lot of you guys don't believe in afterlife or any of the stuff I talk about. You just find it to be entertaining. for you guys, I would say, keep doing what keep playing Fortnite, do all that stuff, whatever interests you. That's normal too. Don't forget there's a lot of normal people who are not into this stuff. That's totally fine. Everyone unfolds how they unfold. I just think we live in you're supposed to see any time you're born in as a blessing, but I think one of the curses of our times is not having real priest leaderships of, initiating man into the higher worlds. I think it's rough doing it by myself at my age when I've got my own things I want to work on and my own problems. And I always got to be on Twitter. Always got to be close to the internet. Always have one more person that we could, push in the right direction. And it's like, it's rough when you think of the Anthro Society or Theosophy societies. These are like Facebook groups where some of the highest level people they're graying. They don't know anything about Twitter. They're on Facebook groups, right? So what is it going? They're saying it's going to take Zherka 10 years to make this stuff popular. He's made the JQ popular to even things out because it got really unfair. It got so unfair the Jews started killing babies for like 2 years straight in Palestine. And I'm there pushing on the other side of that. And now it's tipping toeing. Now everyone's talking about it, but you look at in 10 years, imagine I fail miserably and we don't make anything of what I talk about popular. I'm talking about not a sub niche of a sub niche, but it has to go mainstream.
What makes you think it's your duty?
Well,
No, it's your duty, I should say.
yeah, I've known since I was like 24, dude. I've known 24 years old that I've known exactly, with pictures in my head of how it's gonna go for me, and I fucking hated it sometimes. I hated thinking about that, because you're surrounded by women. You're just like a Zherka type surrounded by women. And obviously they're curious. They're like, oh, he's got his headphones on. He's always ignoring me. He's always looking into his phone. He's always reading this. What the fuck is he reading? He's always mysterious. He's always alone. He's always doing his other stuff, and then he'll be around us. And it's like, you're stuck in between two worlds. The sensual world of, okay, there's a Chad in the incarnation, that means you get to spread love, how a Chad does. But also it's like, ooh, shit, I have to be getting views. I have to be doing all this. If you're born into the age of technology, you have to be in front of the limelight, and you're supposed to be, have the clout and push this stuff. So I've known for a long time it's gonna go like this, and it was not even blurry. It was more like I wanted to close my eyes to it. And which is weird, because 99.9% of people, when they find out their incarnation task, they're liberated. They're sprinting out of bed. And then you have someone like me where it's like 5 more minutes, or I'll do it halfway. I'll do it this way. I'll do 2 months of heavy meditations and 2 months of partying. I'll do this, I'll do that, and it's very chaotic for your development. But, just like my mentor said, he's like, you'll be balanced out. You will be forced to be balanced out hard. And, I'm like, I'm stubborn as hell. I'm not going to balance out. And then the sunrise started. I'm like, oh man, I'm balancing out. I feel like those guys who are blooming their heart chakra on MDMA, where they have love for everyone at the rave, except I've been feeling like that for a year straight. And it won't stop. It's like something I build up to, but then when it opens, it's like, whoa, I gotta share this feeling with the world. It sounds like some hippie druggy guy talking right now, but you can tell I'm like I'm
No, I
not
feel
just
that
sober, I'm
100%.
exact. sober. Like, I'm super sober, and I'm telling you, obviously it's not going to make sense until some of you guys get older, right? It's not like a 20-year-old understands anything of what I'm saying. Actually, a 20-year-old would be like, stay with the bitches, bro. Stay with the bitches. And which there's going to be a time for that, right? My little cult with, my harem and all that. But, man, it's crazy how I've never met a human that I've trained personally that didn't not need me anymore. They immediately not need me anymore. They go after that 100-day mark, right? We go, a great book I recommend, right? The Secret of the Golden Flower. But yeah, that book is so accurate with after 100 days of transmutation of like perfect meditations. And I divide the world, or what do you call this, meditation community with Brecca, Joe Rogan, that kind of community of like these health nuts that talk about meditation. Oh, just 10 minutes a day and all this stupid shit that they talk about. I divide the community into the meditation community and the people who are good at meditation. So these are two different, very different communities, right? Because one is like some depressed faggot, dreamy, otherworldly type of fucking faggotry. And then there's people who are good at meditation where they don't need Zherka. They go inward, they get everything they need, they know exactly what they're supposed to do, and they don't chaotically combine them. And a lot of them have talked to me one-on-one. They said, well, that euphoric feeling of doing your mission on Earth, how do you still end up doing that and partying at the same time, Zherka? And I'm like, I honor my personality too. I'm not here to just honor my inner man, right? My inner spiritual man is everything. It's, it is my world. But I'm not going to waste the Zherka character for 1 second, because that's not how you play in this cosmic stage, in this world, right? It would be like Andrew Tate not speaking like Andrew Tate. That would be a waste of Tate's energy. Like, no, everyone, bring your personality with your inner man, right? Just don't let it become whatever Sneeko is. If you ever get confused with what I'm saying here, think of Logan Paul. He has a lot of inner man right now, right? At his age, at his development, right? I know Sneeko's younger. And then he'll go on YouTube once a month. And that's his outer man personality. Sneeko's the other way around. He has zero inner man except when he does his 5 prayers a day. Thank God he at least does that, right? But then his outer man is just 7 days a week. Guys, this is why. Every Sneeko clip he says, this is why you should. This is why. Anytime someone snaps their fingers and said, this is why the universe works like this, they're full of shit, right? This is why Islam. This is why you should eat cheesecake. This is why he cannot wait to find the new grift to fix his whole reality. And then he thinks he's figured everything out. When there's people who have seriously worked hard on their inner man, you could listen to. You could listen to Logan Paul for 5 minutes and get way more out of that. I'm talking as a hater. I'm not even a Logan Paul fan, but I'm saying you should be able to see the depth of character of people developing at a rapid pace, at a very high. You can hate on Jake Paul all you want for being Jewish, whatever. He unfollowed me because I said you're a Jew. But you can hate on Jake Paul all you want, right? But you can't deny that he denied his inner man. No, he's boxing his ass off, right? He's all inner man right now, even though you just talk shit about his personality, his outer man, right? So what would the world be like if people didn't use their personalities? It would be fucking weird. Have you ever pondered on the mystery of why God developed a sense of humor? And obviously Jesus Christ never laughed in the Gospels because he never had to release any guilt or any tension because he's perfect. But humans are far from perfect, even when they're going up there, especially when they're going up there, right? That's why humans laugh at each other. That's why when someone says, this is what a man is, the comments are shitting on him. Doesn't matter if he's a bodybuilder, doesn't matter if he's a hockey player with no teeth, it doesn't matter. is because they're mocking the spiritual man, the archetypal idea of a man, right? And humans fall short from it, but it's hilarious. It's hilarious, as in get back up and keep evolving, right? You know, like if Sneeko turned his stream on, he said, Sneeko is what a real man is. Everyone would laugh, right? If Andrew Tate said, this is what a real man is, being Andrew Tate, there's a lot of people who, you know, you read the comments and they'd be like, oh, really? An OnlyFans manager? You know, there's a lot of backlash. Oh, rapist, right? Any human who says this is what a man is kind of taking the piss, right? They don't even realize it, most of them. But yeah, it's, once you ponder on why God created laughter, you'll realize laughter is an evolutionary tactic, but not for reality, for consciousness, not for what you see out there, but everything inside you and out there. Both your eyes meet in the middle. And when you realize, oh, whoa, laughter pushes humans to higher level. Like when you see Island Boys. I'm an island boy. I'm just trying to fag on my brother. You know, when you see Island Boys, you laugh because you're seeing divine sparks from God. God gave them, hey, do whatever you want with it. Just develop. Let's see the work of art you produce. And they individuate into like some island boy. Are they white or what is it? What's the joke? I don't know. You know the joke, the island boy joke, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying that why you can't pinpoint or why you laugh at anyone saying what a real man is because there's a lot of development left, a lot more than you think, right? And development comes from, again, meditation, intentional suffering, which is your concentration, and prayer. These three tell you where to go, how to think, how to feel, what to will. These things will make thinking that's awake, feeling that's dreams, and will that's asleep start merging into harmony, in perfect soul harmony. You're going to start realizing that the whole spiritual world is the sleep world. When you're asleep, all you're trying to do is bridge that to the dream, to the awake. When you're awake and you extinguish that level of consciousness to become and to become yourself, right? Ego consciousness. And you're going to start seeing the living spiritual world little by little start making your day better and better. And why I have to reinforce all this is because every single seed on earth that turns into a giant oak tree has a plan, has a cosmic plan built into it, a potential. If that potential gets interrupted, well, there's many more lifetimes, many more chances for it to reach its potential, but that is God's plan. God's plan. You know that faggot song by Drake? Yeah, that
Yeah.
song is talking about there's a blueprint to how your life is supposed to go, and you're gonna get very confused. Like sometimes you think it's about clout, sometimes you think about, whoa, there's a lot of money here, sometimes you think that, but pay attention to every live streamer that took a gambling deal and watch how nasty their lives are going to become karmically because of it. And you're going to just start noticing, whoa, this might happen in 10 years. This might happen later. This might happen behind the scenes, but you see it in their face. Nothing is free. Nothing is free in this world if you're stepping on another organism's toes because you're interrupting God's plan, right? That potentiality, right? That's why I'm not saying you can't slap a fly out the air, but I'm saying that fly wants to evolve too. Do you understand? Everything wants to evolve. And if you interrupt evolution, you're going to pay dearly. Now, if you progress evolution, like Zherka, well, let's just say, watch how my life goes. By the time let's say, if I make it to 40 years old, you guys are going to be like, oh, wow, that's how you do an incarnation perfectly. Like, you start off really hot, and you get back to the inner work, and then you go back hot, and then you merge it all. It's like a bow tie. But then you look at your dad, your grandfather, your whoever, and you're gonna, not to disrespect them, but there's a level of shame you will feel from the people close to you that they worked on their intellect. They don't get to keep that. You get to keep your moral progression. You don't get to keep your fucking intellect on how to build a gaming chair and all this stupid shit. You get to keep your courage if you build that, but you don't get to keep whatever. There's so many things you get to keep inward inside of you. But this external shit, like, man, snap out of it, And again, it's like every human has to bring their tribe to a higher level of evolution if they have a tribe. 99.9% of people online don't have a big following, right? That's like the rare 1 to whatever percentage that looks like everyone has followers, but it's not really like that. It's most of the world has 0 followers, right? There's a reason for that. They're not trusted with that. Like, think about how many jokes I made about Coke. And then there's like some young 14-year-old kid named Clavicular watching that kind of stuff. You think I'm not paying for that? You're going to be balanced out because you said a lot of good stuff too, Zherka. And it's like, yeah, that's how the game works. I get that's how the game works, but it is rough. You see some kid just doing line after line after line of whatever. And it's almost like I want to reach out and say, hey, I have good people in my life. I get to destroy my life strategically. I have good mentors in my life. I've got good brothers. You don't have anyone in your life. Be careful with the nose candy. If let's say Clavicular's friend right now, his friend is probably what, Aiden Ross, Sneeko is. These people are gonna fucking destroy your life because they're not men. They're little boys. They have nothing for you, right? They might nudge you. Hey, don't do blow. That's not enough, right? So it is scary that the youth doesn't realize. You see someone playing life on hard mode, let's say, right? Let's say he's zerking really hard. Okay, he's playing a legendary skin, legendary character, legendary package. He's got a good team to do that. Don't ever think it's just a solo game, right? It's kind of like, let's look at Johnny Depp. He parties a lot, right? Hollywood guy, parties a lot, drugs, alcohol, he's miserable. Clearly he doesn't have a good team around him because he's miserable and on drugs and out of shape and whatever. Do you hear what I'm saying? That just because you see someone playing the, Halo and legendary mode doesn't mean he's not with a good team. And in the world, people think, well, I'm going to do that because no, I don't think Zherka would do the things he went through if he didn't have strong mentors, right? Because my mentors are like, if you do this, your life will go this way. I'd be like, I want it to go that way. And they'd be like, okay, this guy has a lot of demons he's working through. Go let him learn the hard way. You're not allowed to interrupt. You're not allowed to interrupt any human on Earth's plan, especially if they're interrupting their own plan. If someone says, I have to destroy my life, you are not allowed to influence them just because you want to influence them, right? Because you're fucking with their free will. Now, you do want to influence them and say, hey, maybe you shouldn't be doing that, or hey, maybe these are better strategies, or hey, maybe this is not going to go well because you're a little too young to be doing all that, right? Not enough HP damage on you to realize, oh shit, this could get bad quick. And by bad quick, I mean, you could get knifed up quick. You could get your head sliced off quick and you'd be like, what the fuck? I didn't get the same outcome as that other dude. Yeah, that other dude was, humans work with different degrees of what they've done in their past. If you ever see a really reckless person, dude, but it seems like they're always winning, those guys are karmically, angelically protected. Many humans who copy a Zherka lifestyle are going to die in their first year of doing that. Many have. Make no mistake about that. Okay? You just look at the person you're watching and you're about to emulate and ask yourself, is that guy guarded? And you'll see that There are Zherka types who are very guarded by their angels, right? And that's just how the game is going for them right now. It doesn't mean they're better. And then there's Zherka types that no one ever hears about because they die. They overdose. They kill themselves. They break up with a girl. They lose their mind. I actually can't handle Zherka's. I wanted to play the video game like him, but I can't handle it. It's like, that guy worked in a fucking nightclub for 5 years, 7 nights a week, every night of his fucking life. Of course, he's gonna pick up on subtle issues with his heart, liver, what he's gonna pick up on when he's dying, right? He's like a veteran at this. You shotgun a Zherka life at 18 years old, you're not picking up when your fucking heart's exploding. It's just gonna explode, right? You're just like a veteran. Hey, I worked at a nightclub for a year and now I'm having a heart attack. And no, dude, it's like, I felt horrible when people said, you killed Togi. And I said, damn, how do I respond to that? Because the guy just had a heart attack. And everyone said it's because of me. He's like, he watched a lot of Zherka and he wanted to unfold at that kind of pace. Right? And I'm like, no, I'm here to take the credit for his success. I'm not here to take the credit for him being resuscitated in Thailand, right? But I have to take that credit too, or whatever you call that. And it's rough. It's like, how do you individuate in the world and run through your mistakes and be transparent and loud and honest about them because that's your nature, and not have younger guys do the same thing and then they drop dead and you're going to feel like, damn, I fucked that whole family up. So that there's nothing free. A lot of you guys are like, oh, I want to do the Zherka path because, no, you don't. If someone drops dead because they got influenced by you being influenced by me, you're going to hate me. You understand? Just think if you were in a tribe, okay? And you see Zherka running butt naked at a buffalo with a sword. Just fucking screaming his ass off, butt naked, flaccid, looks small, but whatever, he's a warrior. I run towards the boar, all flaccid, but the legs are erect, just sprinting right at it. And I'm clear, I'm healthy, there's no shaky legs, no drugs, no nothing, I'm in it. Maybe I had a bit of fungi. And I'm sprinting at the boar. And then some 18-year-old kid from the tribe says, I want to do that too, on cocaine. You're 18, dude. You're 18 years old. What do you mean you want to do that too? You're 18. If I did it at 18, then it would make sense. But that's the scariest thing, is you can influence someone to activate their ego consciousness at a younger age. So they're going through what I'm going through, except way earlier, with way less consciousness, way less mistakes under their belt, way less experience, way less awareness, and none of that can be seen because it's all inner world. So it just looks like, a confident kid. That's the scary thing, man. That's like, yo, you're a Charmander, man. Wait, mature a bit, and then go hard. But what do you tell someone like Clavicular, right? What do you tell Togi? I spent a long time with Togi because, man, I felt guilty. I'm like, oof. Imagine being a young guy and you go, here's an extremophile on TV. There's a Zherka on TV. He's an extremophile. What is an extremophile? Well, he has a mentor that he never listens to because he wants to do things his own way because he thinks he's chosen, right? He thinks he's higher level on his soul path than anyone else on earth. Huge ego trial failures. Like, this guy has an ego on him. So this Zherkophile, right? Maybe we shouldn't say that. But this extremophile, right? Like a Komodo dragon. This extremophile we see, right? His philosophy is that if things are not unfolding in his life, he'll take it to the fucking extreme. No matter how much HP he loses, he doesn't care. He'll go to the maximum. And he'll do that with his content too. He'll do that with everything. His girlfriend, anything. oh, wow, it worked out for him. It looks like it's the shit he got out of the mud. Look at him. He's got a good life for himself now. And you watch an extremophile and you go, okay, so how do you become an extremophile? Oh, well, you have to sacrifice everything you have. What? You have to do things that could kill you on the spot right there. That reckless? What the fuck? How do you do that? How do you build up courage to do that? Well, it's called being an extremophile. You have to weigh it to the lifestyle you're living. If the lifestyle you're living is that bad, that's horrific, your incarnation isn't going how you want it to go, you will jump right into that wild boar's mouth and fight it. And that's what an extremophile is. Now here's the problem, is like there's bursts in life you have to be extreme. Intensity is king. But when your nature becomes extreme what? If your nature is extreme, there's no brakes. That means you're gonna crash hard. And I feel
Yeah, I need a
I
break now. That's definitely something I
yeah,
need.
and people don't realize extremophiles existed way before me. Look at Rich Piana was an extremophile. Look at Z's was an extremophile, right? Where more is more, and more has to be more, and more is better. An extremophile would be, I'm missing so many fitness guys, but I'm sure the fitness industry has so many, the guys I used to watch, a lot of them dropped dead because they became extremophiles. This is the spirit of Icarus, where the idea, you don't own it, it owns you now. This is a dangerous place to be in, right? And people love dangerous characters. They think it's mysterious, right? That's the whole mystique, the illusion of it, right? But no, the real mystique is in evolution and consciousness. Because we're all going to see each other again in different ways, different lifetime, different systems, different heavenly places, right? But we're going to look at each other and say, that person's more developed. That person's, and by that I mean, have you ever seen someone on the street that's just radiant, glowing, and you don't know why, right? You look at them and you go, well, they have morally progressed, this motherfucker. Even though you don't know them, they could be a piece of shit. They could be fucking up their whole incarnation. They could, whatever. But that's how it's going to be in higher worlds, where eventually, when you guys come into higher levels of consciousness, you're going to realize, oh, damn, the video game does not end. It's a beautiful, eternal thing like that, right? And it gets better and better and better and better and better and better. And I'm not just saying that to be philosopher of happiness or any like, hey, Pete, I'm not, Terrence McKenna on this bitch. I'm not saying that, for the hippies. I'm saying that's the system. That is the real matrix, right? And you guys all know that deep down. But if you ever find yourself in a place where, hey, what Zherka says makes sense, but I only want to stick to the red pill arc, I don't want to stick to the harder stuff he teaches when he only sacrificed everything in his life so he could have a platform to teach this stuff. Think about that. What you're missing out on is, I've been waiting a long, maybe over 12 years to unleash the dog shit on this winter solstice. I've been waiting a long time, because way longer. Let's say when I was 16, I knew I would have a tribe. I knew it'd be somewhat online, and I knew we'd meet up on islands for certain things, right? I knew it's going to go like that. I knew that it was going to be heavily bro culture, heavily superficial, meaning, we can go out to the bars, we can do whatever, normal people, normal incarnation shit, and then we can also, on the other side, really progress, really, don't stay like Flickr or Sneaker or whoever, but really progress. And we need both those sides, because there is no reality. If you delete the superficial from your life, that's not okay, right? The world is there for you. You can't just delete the superficial. Most people delete the inward. That's horrifying. I would rather be dead than, inwardly empty. That's crazy people do that. That's why when people say, hey, I'm a Sikh, I'm a Muslim, whatever is building their inner world is huge. It's great. It's not the total truth, because on the other side, and I mean, when you guys go to bed tonight, you're not going to remember, but on the other side, you do meet with the Christ. And it's very different than what Christians talk about. Okay? It's a cosmic being. It's otherworldly. It's so unfathomable how different the Christ is than what you see pastors and priests talk about. Because remember, they get very dreamy, right? Anyone who's being dreamy is being Luciferic. They're not being exact with their thinking. And in this day and age, consciousness has to be exact, right? So if you ask me, Zherka, what was Jesus like? I'll tell you exactly what he was like. Okay? Think of you in your most perfect state, in a sense of wonder and love for the world, like a child, correct? Like you've probably had maybe seconds in your life where you felt like everything's perfect. Times that by infinity. The Christ is everything we are not, but relatable in man form. We can aspire to these heights. Now, a lot of Christians don't get what I say, what I mean by this, but before you become Christ-like, you will be Michaelic-like, right? You will be like the angel Michael. This is very high level in your evolution, by the way. Very high level.
Michael was always my favorite character in the
Yeah,
Bible.
yeah, and this is much closer energy to us than the Christ. The Christ is so much bigger than us that you don't realize you have to build. Like, for example, think of a great Christian couple. Mom, dad, they're the perfect Christians. They usually lack courage. No one wants to admit this, but that's the truth. They lack courage. They're just, they go to A&W, they get their food, they're very cute, they go to their church, they're adorable, they do everything morally correct, but the other half of their soul, courage, is not being fulfilled. And so, they're going to have many times to correct that. But, if you told it to their face, it would be kind of sad too, because some of the greatest people on earth lack the courage side. And some of the biggest pieces of shit overdevelop the courage side, but they don't have the kind side, the sweet side. And both sides suffer tremendously, right? Then there's the middle, and they are never known as true Christians. It's very hard to spot these people. You will never know they're true Christians. You'll just know you feel good around them. They'll have a bit of courage, and they'll be a good person. Not overdeveloped, not too nice, not, you can't walk all over these types, right? And this is that middle form. I'm not saying this middle form is great. I'm just saying this is what the superficial, lives in the city kind of guy has to push outward from himself, right? And a lot of people don't get that. It sounds cruel, but without courage, moral development is one-sided, right? Very one-sided.
Without courage. Is that a segue?
Right. Well, I'll just finish it like this. Andrew Tate builds his courage. We love to see it. He's missing the other side, though. He's ripping people off. He's being that friend in the group chat that everyone likes, wants to chill with, but nobody actually trusts that guy. So that's not a Christian. That would be like half a true Christian. I'm not talking about a Christian of today's modern world. I'm talking about medieval Christian, where courage was seen as huge, huge. And you need this. Courage is huge, right? If you ever want to live a one-sided life, just be a good person with no courage. That's most Christians today, and they live very unfulfilled lifestyles, right? Then you have a bunch of these YouTubers, very courageous, but they have no God in their heart. right? They just misleading their audience nonstop and doing wheelies and donuts with their karmic fruits, right? They got nice cars and do all this kind of crazy shit. But I'm telling you, everyone you watch on TV, internet, is going to go through a crash, like a Jungian type of crash, like Brandon Buckingham, or YouTubers will randomly start dying, or they'll start getting sick, and people break their legs, people will have drowning experiences. All of these things that happen to humans are corrective shocks. So you're either going to get corrected because you're on one half being a fucking pussy, and then, oh, you have a new energy for life because now you're not afraid of death. You went through a car crash, built courage there, right? And then you have the other half, you're not being a good person, right? And I would say this, man, being a good person is nothing of what you've been told. Everything's a psyop. Being a good person is look into the heart of someone you're talking to, see their point of view of what they're trying to say, try and say what they're trying to say to you better than they say it to you. I'm sure you guys have seen me on podcasts where I repeat what a guest says in my own words, but I try and say what they're trying to say, and they freak out. They go, yes, Zherka, yes, that. That's what I'm talking about. That's when you can go inside someone's inner being, you will develop real compassion, right? And this is coming from someone who has serious anger. I'm telling you this. I want to end this message with Jesus Christ is God, and anyone who says otherwise is not the enemy, they just have to evolve.